going on there, jerk faces? It's your boy Andy, and you're watching Nocturnal Transmission, brought to you by the Circle of Jerks podcast. It's a conversation you could be having during the day, but having at night. We're back for another week. Movie reviews of commentary on current events, and general merriment.
Oh, always.
Always.
I'm always happy.
Right. Yeah, we're always happy here. Can't you tell by the by looks on our faces?
Yeah.
No.
I drink my beer out of enjoyment, not out of remorse or out of sadness or depression.
Right.
Except.
Yeah. Oh man, that's what I forgot.
Except when I watch Wind River, then then it's out of depression.
Right. Then it's just like you have to have you just have to have a handle of Jack with you the entire time.
Oh God.
No, but yeah, we got some fun in store for you. Of course, the weekly movie review with the newly christened Tasty Slice Natalie Woods. Yeah, no. If you go to our Instagram feed at Circle of Jerks Podcast, you can see the photo that I shared with y'all. So yeah, make sure to give us a follow on there.
She was definitely popular with the fellas.
Yeah, very easy on the eyes. Very easy on the eyes. As well as giving what is it? That is the Joe Biden presidency.
Yeah.
It's truly amazing. The continual L's this man has been getting. Not even just in terms of like my own opinion, but just kind of like the general feeling within the country. I mean, people, the tweets, saying that that they regret voting for Biden, or like I think we'll get into maybe a little bit into it more, but like the booing, there was some, not a lot of booing, but they were booing at the Super Bowl this past weekend.
What a tone deaf thing that they did during the Super Bowl. My God.
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, not just the pre-recorded message to the crowd, but like even like that has nothing to do with Joe Biden, but yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's the only tone deaf thing that happened at the Super Bowl, but yeah, the message, was like saying like, oh, we got to come together as a nation, and oh, don't forget to wear your mask and socially distance at a public event.
It's honestly that'd be like where if I was there at the event. Well, I mean, because I was watching on TV, so I did this where you double bird it to him. It's like, fuck you, Joe Biden. But if I was there, I would I would have just booed. I would have shouted as loud as I could to tell him to go fuck himself.
Yeah, and it's like, and then he said like two sentences, he barely got them out, but he still said them. But like it was mostly his wife, the first lady, Jill Biden. I mean, I'm sorry, Dr. Jill Biden.
No,
I'm sorry, Dr. Jill Biden.
Jill Biden. How dare you call her Mrs. Biden?
I know. Sorry, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm a terrible misogynist.
Yeah.
I'm such. I have that.
Yeah.
Whatever, doctor of English. Yeah. It's like, what was the freaking Whoopi Goldberg?
No, she's a doctor of teaching. She's not a doctor of any. She's a doctor of education.
Okay. Oh yeah. So her doctor is in education, but it's like,
it's not even
I remember when Whoopi Goldberg, said like, oh, she should be the, she's qualified to be the Surgeon General. It's like, no, she's fucking not.
It's like, you're an idiot, Whoopi. But that's hey.
Yeah, whoops, I lost.
She's had two good roles in her, in her Hollywood career. Sister Act and
Sister Act and Ghost.
Oh, okay, okay, three.
Yeah,
three good roles.
3 good roles.
Probably my favorite on TNG, Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Guinan. I loved her as Guinan.
She was awesome, but
she was awesome as Guinan. But then she had to piss away all that goodwill, and
Yeah. Oh, hey, well.
son of a diddly.
We having some troubles.
Yeah, just on my end though. My camera feed
Because you
just cut
called
out.
her Mrs. Biden.
I know that's what it. It's the Biden curse. You badmouth the president, and any it's kind of like the Trump
Yeah.
curse, where people go against Trump and they always end up losing. So this, we'll just classify this as the Biden curse.
Well, hey, it's better than the Hillary curse where you end up with 2 bullets in the back of your head.
All right, and then your death is ruled as a
suicide.
As a no, as an accident.
Oh yeah, accident, suicide.
Or accident, suicide, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not just one or the other. They're both. They're both an accident and a suicide.
Yeah. But you also had all these speaking of the Super Bowl, I mean the game itself, I was shocked that that Kansas City.
Tom Brady freaking myrtleized them.
God damn. I mean, it's just, as much as I hate to admit it, Tom Brady is pretty goddamn good.
Right.
And after all these years, the question is answered. Was it Belichick or Brady? Well, let me tell you, the Patriots sucked ass this year.
Right.
And Tom Brady won another Super Bowl. So I think problems. Problem answered.
Your question answered.
Yeah, question answered there. But man, you had a lot of these dumbass tweets that were going around, and I
well, yeah, I guess we'll go. Yeah, I guess we're. What would that be? That'd be buyer's remorse or social betters.
Social. It's a little bit of both.
A little bit of both, yeah. I mean, we're kind of going all over the place, but.
So this character here that I send Andy stuff that I see during the week that I find just either just insufferable, or extra insufferable, or kind of douchey things that people say. I like to share with Andy and make fun of them.
Yes, and then I like to respond to them in the most honest and constructive way possible.
Yeah.
But if we showed them on this stream, we probably get kicked off.
Most likely, yeah.
Most likely.
All right. So anyway, so this person says, "Oh, watching the Super Bowl and seeing so many people in one place is making my heart race. This feels unsafe. And I guess I'm rooting for the team with the racist name over the team with the Trump-loving QB in a sport that still hasn't apologized to Colin Kaepernick. Oh my God. I'm so torn, Andy. Good fucking God."
Yeah. Well, how did you put it?
She must be.
Yeah, that's a real football fan there, right there.
Yeah, she must be fun. She must be like the life of the party.
Yeah, she must be the life of the party at funerals.
She's the life of the Super Bowl party. I want her at all mine.
Yeah, no, but it's like the underlying message being conveyed here is that normal human interaction should be demonized or made taboo. I mean, I'm probably sure I shared this probably at the beginning of all this. When they're saying oh, don't shake hands anymore, bump elbows. I fucking goddamn hate bumping elbows. Fucking people do to me. I think I've shared this story, but I was at a party, and I was, and there was someone who's introducing himself to the circle that I was a part of, and down around the circle he went, shaking everyone's hands or high fiving or whatever, and then the guy gets to me and he puts out his elbows bump it. I was like, but then okay, and then so I don't want to be a fucking asshole, so I bump his elbow, and then he goes on and then he continues to go and shake hands with everybody else. It's like, what the fuck? I fucking hate the elbow bump. It's the most stupidest goddamn fucking thing It's not cool. It's not cool in the least.
I mean, it's like your hand isn't gonna melt by shaking your hand, Andy.
I know. That's what I think it is. They think that they're gonna fucking crush my hand if they try to shake it.
Dude, like, I mean, obviously, like, we've told our origin story as friends, often enough. But even if like it wasn't a dark room, I would have shaken your fucking hand.
Yeah, no, exactly. But yeah, that's I really think that's what it is. Like they think that they're gonna like crush my hand if they shake it. Like they think like I don't know. They think that I'm like that delicate or some shit. I fucking hate the elbow bump. The elbow bump is not cool. Even if it wasn't like the go-to social like gesture parlance these days, it's if it was still an option, doing the elbow bump is fucking lame. I'm saying it right here right now. It's fucking lame. Just looking. Have you ever seen like them doing like the elbow bump? It looks fucking lame.
Well, nowadays I just hug you and kiss you occasionally, but
right, and then I lick your entire face. So,
oh yeah, like we know, like normal people.
Yeah, like normal people. But yeah, but the whole elbow bump thing is so fucking gay. Yes, and I said gay. It's so fucking gay.
Yeah, it's of all the greetings that people have, I think it's the lamest for sure.
Yeah, even amongst women, it's gay.
But anyway, so I saw that one, and I was just like, wow, that took the cake of all like the insufferable like Super Bowl tweets that I saw.
Yeah, because you have like a little bit of everything. Because you got a little bit of like the anti-mask shaming, and then a little bit of like the social, and then like a little bit of the social justice thing, and then you also have like the Trump hate. It's what is it? It's in Korean there's this stew called jampong, which it's basically like everything is in it.
Yep.
So so that tweet is like the jampong of tweets.
Yeah, it's the gumbo of tweets. Gumbo,
yeah, there you go.
For those that are not familiar with Korean cuisine.
You're right. Yeah. I know. I was like trying to think of it, but I was like, just Jampong came first to my mind. But yeah, it's the gumbo of tweets. It has a little bit of everything for everyone, except for the sane, rational people.
Except for actual football fans who don't give two fucks about like any of that crap.
Right. Yeah, I mean, but it's not even the first time that these people like put out the idea that a white person beating a black person is racist. Like there was like the whole thing with Jake Paul when he fought that old I don't know, football player or basketball player, and like kind of like not exhibition fight, because they both got licensed, so they did it without like the brain buckets.
Yeah.
But like yeah, like he he went on like this show and was interviewed by these like two black bitches, and they're like, is there racist that you as a white person knocked out this black guy? It's like no, because that's part of the fucking that's part of the fucking sport.
Yeah.
Like so like it's not racist if the black guy was to knock out the white guy. No, that's not.
Now I am no fan of Logan Paul because he's also.
I think it was Jake. It was Jake though.
Oh, or Logan Paul, Jake. I always get him.
The Pauls. Let's just blanket. Let's just blanket the Pauls. You're not a fan of the Pauls.
They're all insufferable, but at the same time, you know what? Like with a comment like that, it's like, you know what? Good for him. Good for him they knocked that guy out. Like with dumbass questions like that, it's like, you know what? Okay.
Yeah,
it's stupid.
It is stupid. And it's and it's like, god damn it, more and more. It's like they talk a big game about unity or whatever.
No,
it's like how are we supposed to unify with that? No. How are we supposed to unify with the side that utterly hates what we're all about?
But well, it's funny with that your comment concerning that was pretty fucking hilarious too, where it's like, where you're like, oh, my only question is for the woman is, where's your husband to stop you for saying such nonsense? Which I was like, well, and it's like, I was like, he's cucked beyond belief if she's even like married or dating somebody. But more than likely, this is the conversation she had with her cat, because no one in their right mind is with this person. Really into what she was saying.
No, Mr. Whisker was very supportive of her life decisions. You know, because Mr. Whiskers is the only one that gets her.
Yeah. No man will ever understand me like you, Mr.
Going by the Gavin McInnes rule of debate and just like dialing it up to 11 and just like saying like
the most outlandish thing.
Yeah, the most outlandish thing possible to just like to get them like that. I know will get them all heated under the collar and just like make them like.
Great at that.
Yeah, no, exactly, dude. That clip when he was on Hannity and like that feminist bitch. That's my favorite. That's my favorite. That's my favorite clip of him of all time because he just like let her like he the stereotypical like like supposedly misogynist things that he was saying. It was like got her going so good that she was literally shaking.
Man. If you haven't seen that like clip, guys, Google it.
It's so good. It's
great.
so good. It's the best thing you'll see on the internet.
Oh man, it was so great.
Yeah, but like that's my kind of, yeah. So like obviously me if I had response tweeted to that chick's tweet like that she would have instantaneously reported me.
But you would have been blocked like immediately.
No, I would have been blocked, and then Jack Dorsey himself would have nuked my Twitter account.
Yeah. We can't.
Like, oh no, sorry, I'm so sorry. So we can't have this happen on our platforms. Yeah, Jack Dorsey, what a fucking retard.
A grown man with a nose ring.
I know, a grown man with a nose ring. How are we supposed? How are men supposed to take him seriously? That's an honest question.
I can't. Like, I mean, literally anytime like I see him, like I laugh because it's just like, wow. It just
no, exactly. I just can't. I just can't take you seriously.
All right. Well, so that's part of like the one of the just ridiculous things that like I heard about this week, where just something I was like, you got to be freaking kidding me. I don't know if there was anything like, or did you like catch anything that was kind of like ridiculous that like I don't know if people like they use or tweets that you saw or like stuff from the Super Bowl that were just like, wow, I cannot believe this crap.
Well, like the commercial that the NFL specifically put out, saying how they're gonna help end systematic racism by by giving like quarter of $1 billion or something to someplace somewhere. They didn't like really specify what like charity or group they were giving that money to. It's just like, oh, we're gonna give $250 million to end systemic racism. It's like, but here's the other tone deaf part of the Super Bowl is that the Super Bowl itself, the NFL itself, is a stinging rebuke against the idea of systematic racism because I forget what the percentage is. Like I don't know. Like it might have been like close to like half of the NFL is made up of black people, black players, coaches, support staff, what have you. And it's like that. You are the example. You are already being the example. You don't have to do this extra thing by giving $250 million away, probably to Black Lives Matter, which still has not done anything for the black community. Whereas like the Black Lives Matter, recreational center or tutoring center or Black Lives Matter scholarship or college scholarship programs. Like there is none because they don't do anything for the black community.
Yeah.
But it's like it's like you have like these black millionaires, who are paid to play a game, and it's like, oh, we're gonna end systemic racism. Like, yeah, you already did. You have black millionaires.
Yeah. Well, and even like there was another tweet too. Oh God. It is pretty much talking about how like because Tampa Bay was the won the Super Bowl. I think it's their second one that they won. I don't think they've been in the Super Bowl since 2002 when they won against the Raiders.
Oh yeah.
They killed the Raiders in that game too. But it's like because their coaching staff, it's they had they have a black head coach, black defensive and offensive coordinators. They even have some ladies on their sideline, it's like trainers and like other stuff, and it's like people are talking about like, oh wow, see, like you can have like all these like black and female and people of color. It's like, who the fuck cares? Like all people care. If I was in Tampa Bay if I was a Buccaneers fan, all I care about is like, are they good enough? I don't care. Like I don't care if they have three legs and four tits or whatever. Like, can they help my team win? Yes. Okay. Great. Awesome. We won a Super Bowl. I don't give two fucks about like what their sexual preference is, like what gender they are, what color they are. Who cares? I just want to watch the fucking game. I want my team to win, and I don't care who gets my team there to do it.
Yeah, I mean the only question that really means anything is are they qualified? That's all. That's all it is. That's all I care about.
They're trying. They are trying to, and they is just like this collective group of morons that all they care about is identity politics. Is they're trying to ruin the.
Oh yeah, because like the thing with like even Roger Goodell came out and said something retarded and was like, oh yeah, we need to end systemic racism or whatever. We need to promote like black voices or whatever. It's like, all right, Roger Goodell, quit your job, and make and have them install a black person.
He's the worst. Except for maybe Adam Silver from basketball, but that's a whole other thing. But
yeah.
That like who is an alien in a human body.
Pretty much.
But these people are trying to ruin the last bastion of meritocracy, where you have to earn your way. It doesn't matter, and it doesn't matter like who you are, where you come from. If you're good enough, you can fucking make it, and you can win, and they're gonna pay you. It doesn't matter. Honestly, they even if you're a shithead, like if you're like one of the worst people, they're gonna pay you and you're gonna make money as long as you can.
Yeah, even if you're not a starter, then they'll still pay you good money.
Dude, if you even make like the team as like the backup, like if you're like either the backup or like you're even on like just the practice squad, you're making six figures, easy. Yeah. That's minimum.
Yeah, which already puts you like in the like 1% category.
Exactly, and that's what it's like. That's what it's like. If Colin Kaepernick could just like okay, yeah, maybe I'm not good enough to start, but I can be a backup, which he probably could be a pretty decent backup. Like yeah, he could do like a couple of couple of rotations a game, or like if someone gets injured, he can fill in. But no, he would have made a lot of money. But that was never the point.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, and like that tweet that you shared with like and she was saying like, oh, like Tom Brady gets a pass, but like Colin Kaepernick doesn't even get apologies. Like apology for what? For being a shit QB?
No, that statement there is wrong. The league bent over fucking backwards to give him every opportunity that he wanted, and he refused. So
yeah,
don't give me like.
Yeah. I know. Like again, it's like these people don't have memories longer than like 3 minutes. In essence, they're goldfish. But yeah, like people seem to forget like the NFL, giving Kaepernick his tryout, but then for some reason he thought he was he was some hot shit, so he's like, oh no, I'm gonna move the tryout to some high school like 30 miles away.
And I'm gonna have the video crew, and it's like, well, no.
Yeah, or like, yeah, I want to have like all the footage, like, so I'm gonna have my own video team there. It's like, no, I was like, no, and like, no, we'll like again the accommodations, like, oh no, it'll be too hectic to coordinate with like that many people, so we'll film it and we'll give you all of the raw footage, so that you can do with whatever you want with it.
Yeah.
But it's like, no deal, no deal.
That's what I said. It was never about football. It's just about his own ego.
Yeah, no, exactly. And again, these people who go and like line up behind Colin Kaepernick, they don't have memories longer than 3 minutes. and so they don't remember all of the stupid shit that he did, in the past. They just think, oh, Colin Kaepernick, black man. And again, Colin Kaepernick is the beneficiary of white privilege because he was adopted by a white family and raised in a very wealthy white family and raised in suburbia and had every opportunity afforded to him.
Yeah. So just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah. This weekend was annoying. This weekend was so annoying.
It really was.
Yeah. I mean, I tacitly watched the game, but not really. I watched like up until about the half, and then I kind of like just checked out.
I ended up switching. What did I end up? I ended up yeah, because they were getting so I watching the movie Giant with Rock Hudson and Elizabeth Taylor and James Dean. Yeah, it actually ended up being pretty good. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I had gotten tired of the insufferable like tweets and just stupid crap that like had nothing to do with the game and enjoying the game.
Right. And the articles that followed after, the following day or whatever about people, the citizens of Tampa Bay, like celebrating the victories, like all the pearl clutching, saying like, oh, look at all these unmasked people. And it's like, and people who wrote like articles about the maskless revelers, who they don't people seem to forget because they don't have long enough memories. But those same people who wrote articles about maskless Tampa Bay citizens reveling in their city's victory, wrote stories lauding the celebration of people of Joe Biden's victory in the similar fashion, going out in the streets, popping like champagne or whatever in the streets.
Fireworks, no mask. Yeah. Like, I mean, hundreds of thousands of people just close together. Hey, no, but that's okay. It's right. Especially even some of our social betters like Lori Lightfoot and all these people that are going out and celebrating, no social distancing, no mask, no nothing. It's like, so clearly they don't care about it. Why should we?
Yeah, clearly. Yeah, I mean, again, it goes back to the whole controversy with Gavin Newsom and like his infamous picture of him at the French Laundry. If they don't take it seriously, why the hell should we?
Oh yeah, they don't, and I don't take it seriously. Half the reason like I even like wear the damn thing is just because it's like I can't, some of the things I need to do, I have, I wouldn't be able to do if I didn't have the goddamn thing.
Yeah, I mean,
that's the unfortunate part.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna be more of a shithead. I know I've said this before, but I'm gonna be more of a shithead in public. I'm sorry, I'm sorry if I'm ever with you during this. But, yeah, I'm gonna be more of a shithead. I mean, yeah, I know people. I know people might say like, oh, you should know better since your aunt like died. It's like, yeah, but she had Alzheimer's. Like she was sundowning. She didn't even recognize me anymore. Yeah. And I'm not saying that I'm not sad that she passed away. There was a time there where it looked like she was there that she was going to turn this around, but unfortunately that wasn't the case. But yeah, I don't like people and again, I don't mean to sound as callous as Andrew Cuomo did when he was talking about the nursing home deaths. But my aunt's death should not impede on anyone else's life except for my own. Yeah. Like I feel the grief, so I will process it and deal with it in my own way. Maybe secluded, maybe with family members, but because my aunt died, that means you know John can't take his daughter to school, or Sally can't go to work so she can feed her kids. No, that's fucking bullshit.
Yeah. Like I said, dying with COVID as far as dying of
Right.
it.
Yeah, exactly. My aunt died with COVID. Yes, it did. COVID, exacerbated her already degenerative disease. Yes, but she already had that degenerative disease.
Like Alzheimer's at the moment, it's a death sentence. Like you're gonna die from it, like at some
Mm-hmm.
point.
Mm-hmm.
Whether like it accelerated it by like a year or a couple of months or however long, it still doesn't change the fact that she was gonna die anyways. Unfortunately, and we all are at some point in time
Right.
of either if not by
Right. It
some
just
like disease or heart attack, time is gonna get all of us eventually.
right. Yeah. It just hers was like a little bit more immediate. Um,
Not to sound callous myself,
yeah. No, of course not.
and especially I say that because my grandmother just recently last year just died of Alzheimer's,
Mm-hmm.
and because of because of this these stupid rules, my mom can't go and mourn the death of my grandmother and go to the funeral and do all this stuff because they live in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like she just and she was devastated that she couldn't be there.
Mm-hmm.
um and it just and it kind of pissed me off too because like I ended up having to take some time off of work to kind of take care of my mom because she wasn't she was not really in a good spot.
Mm-hmm.
And it just I look at this stuff, it's like these people don't know like what they're doing. They're just making up things as they go along and quote unquote following the science. And you look at guys like Dr. The esteemed Dr. Fauci,
Hallowed be his name.
yeah, praise be upon him, who, hey, you know what? It makes perfect. We should double mask. Oh, no, actually, it shouldn't. And he's constantly fucking, saying, two different things or three or four different things, changing his mind. And he's been doing it his entire fucking career. He's done it like through the AIDS epidemic. Every goddamn like crisis, disease crisis that has happened. That he's been in that role for 40 fucking years, and it's the same goddamn thing. He doesn't know what he's doing. He hasn't seen a patient since like what, the 70s.
Yeah, he hasn't been a clinical physician since like 70s or because he was installed during Reagan.
Exactly, and it's just and the fact that like people still listen to this guy.
Yeah, and here's a guy that literally said to people's faces, "Yeah, I lied to you," about like the whole.
Exactly, that's the other thing. It's like, and I keep telling people that it's like, you remember like when this guy who you're lauding, it's like, oh, follow the science. Okay, fine. This is a guy that said like, oh, if you're wearing a mask, you're terrible. Like, like it's you don't need a mask. Like, it doesn't do anything.
Yeah, he said like, "Oh yeah, it might prevent like one tiny droplet, but really it's more about making other people
Which,
feel better."
in that sense, he was telling the truth.
Yeah.
To be honest. But then comes out and says, "Oh well, I was saying that not to create a panic, and I wanted to make sure we had enough masks for our, our healthcare staff, or quote unquote social betters, our that people that are
basically the new basically the new firefighters, because like during 9/11, how freaking cops, firefighters, like your first responder types, they were all elevated to this the status of saints, but now that's what the health worker is now.
But it's like, I lied to you then, but I'm not lying now. Wear a mask. Wear 2 masks. Wear 3 masks. Okay. You know what? Like, I don't believe a fucking word that this guy says.
Yeah. And again, like went on and NBC, they showed like that graphic of the image of like 2 masks. And it's like, oh, that's 75% better, and then like the pictures of like the three masks on layered on top of each other, it's like, oh, that's 90%
Well, I'll wear
better.
five masks and I'll
But
get
yeah, it's
healthy.
like, yeah, but if you look into like the study that they cite, that's not what that study says. It says like, if you because they show like the same type of mask, but it's like if you wear like, kind of like the paper like surgical one the over with like a cloth one, yeah, that would probably be better. And then the three layers is not even three layers. It not doesn't mean three masks. What they were talking about is a cloth type of mask with that has like that's capable of having a filter insert, and then and then covering that up.
Yeah.
But then again, that's not three masks, or that's not three layers.
It,
And again, I bring this up, but like I called this back in like June or something, because I put up like that
that's right.
art
I
that
remember that now.
article, and I started it with a joke with like, oh, if you can smell a fart through two layers, what is one layer gonna do to a microscopic virus? And like, and it's funny because like, one of my former classmates try to like get me, try to rake me over the coals over it, but then I utterly blew her out of the water because she shared an article with me. I read it. I read
The source, like,
I read the source material, and it's like, no, because the one of the studies was talking about multiple layers, but it's multiple layers of different kinds of fabric.
yeah.
And it wasn't like, like stacking on, stacking on top of one another, but it's like kind of like you know you know creating layers, but like, within like a reasonable uh, uh, kind of format. Still the mask format, but just like maybe having different layers, or like having like the filter thing. That's what basically they were talking about in that study.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, and it's like, and like, and Fauci said like, oh no, like once enough people get vaccinated, I think we can go back to normal. It's like, oh, and then and then fast forward to a few months later, it's like, oh no, even if you get vaccinated, you still have to wear the mask. And it's like, oh, okay, and then it's like, okay, and then like, oh well, we don't, even if we get 75%, I don't think we'll reach that herd immunity until late 2021 into early 2022. It's like, are you fucking kidding? They're constantly moving the goalposts, right? And that's what I'm sick and tired of. And like people like, kind of, my own parents freaking yell at me because I'm a little bit more cavalier about wearing the mask. Because I'm a good son. I still follow the what is it, the fifth commandment, which is
Right.
honor thy father and mother. And my parents ask me to wear a mask when I'm with them, so I do.
Yeah.
I do, because I love my parents, and yes, and even and my church has been open for a very long time, and yes, and they require that all attendees wear masks, and I do, because again, they're my brothers and sisters in Christ, and they've asked me to do it. It's not some nameless bureaucrat from the government that's demanding that I wear it. It's my fellow brother, it's my fellow co-worker in Christ, and they have asked me to wear one, and so I will happily comply.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just
But yeah, all these fucking people say, like, oh, like you're, that's why people, when people say, oh, you're trying to kill you're trying to kill grandma. It's like, well, one, my grandma's dead, and I'm not trying to kill all grandmas. I'm just trying to kill your grandma.
yeah.
You know.
That's a great line. I like that.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna be more of a shithead.
Sounds good to me.
Mm-hmm.
Um. Yeah, and I was like, because I know like it's one of those things where like I start to like I think I start to get like my wife on board with like kind of like because she's starting to like where she's not necessarily like someone that's like kind of up to date like on the news or like all that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and she's kind of like more kind of she hears things like, "Oh, should we do that?" And it's like, and I've kind of started to get her. It's like, no, actually, this is like what's really going on. Oh, but then like there's like certain things where like people are like, oh, well, you should get the vaccine and all that stuff. I'm like, I'm not really sure that I want to get that either. It's not because like, I want to see some of the reactions that people have to after they take it. If it's actually even like if it's even doing anything. And
I
because
mean, yeah, I mean, I took my parents to, my parents got vaccinated.
yeah,
I t- and I took them, but
yeah,
it's like, but I voiced my concern. I told them like, yeah, maybe she'll hold off, but like, they want to go on this trip, and so like, and they know that it's, it'd be a lot easier for them if like they do get vaccinated.
right.
So it's like, okay, fine. I told, I said my piece about it. I don't think you should get it. So I don't know, like, even though I'm against it, I was like, just wait until like your job says that you have to get the vaccine.
Well,
Um,
because to me, like the showing of like people actually getting the vaccination to me felt like kabuki theater because like they weren't actually getting vaccinated. Like that's the thing. It's like it did.
oh right, well yeah, with like the officials and like yeah, that one dumbass who like stuck in like an already plunged needle and I forget into some official's arm,
Yeah,
but
and I was like, okay, that kind of concerns me a little bit. Like
yeah,
that.
it's not instilling the confidence that you think. And then also like the hypocrisy of freaking Kamala Harris, who said like, oh, if a vaccine developed under Trump, like, no way, I definitely not get it. And then who's the first one in line to get it?
Yeah,
But of course, she justified it saying like, oh, well, I'm the vice president now, and I have to instill confidence or whatever. It's like after you utterly decimated confidence by saying that you wouldn't get it just because it was developed under Trump. Not that not necessarily because it was made by Trump, because no one thought that Trump was going to the lab with his code. Like, all right, folks, all right, we're gonna kick it down. We're gonna kick this virus's ass. All right, hand me this, hand me the beacon, the Bunsen burners. All right, it can be huge. No one thought that. All right.
it's like it was under Trump, so I'm not gonna believe it. It's like, come on, guys. He's not the guy in the fucking like lab that's trying to develop this. Like he hired people to like he put out like a thing like that to produce a work on a vaccine, and he produced competition to like uh for these companies to produce a vaccine, and they, as far as we know, they've done it. But I'm just, it's not because that Trump was behind it or whatever, but I'm just skeptical because you keep getting these people, like I said, they're speaking out of both sides of their mouth, and the show for the public, it's kabuki theater because you have all these people that's like they're not getting anything. Like it's like I said, it's already a plunged needle. Like what are they getting exactly?
Right, and then you have
Or you have like the
that
people.
when you have that one nurse who got it, and then she faints nearly immediately afterwards, and they come out with like this the spin about how like, oh, well, she has this condition where she's prone to like fainting, when or
3 hours
something.
later, yeah,
What?
3 hours later after getting like the
Yeah,
vac.
no, exactly. It's like, oh, well, isn't that a little convenient that she fainted like nearly right after she got the shot.
Yeah, it's just like I said, it's I feel like it's kabuki theater on both sides, and I don't know.
Trump pissed away his legacy by throwing going so hard promoting like the vaccines. I'm not happy about that. I think what he should have done is just like uh, gotten rid of the CARES Act and it's like, all right, like whatever the states decide, like that's on you. It's no longer on the federal government. We're out. It's all on you guys now.
Yeah, which I
Um,
would have been very happy had he done that. To be honest.
Yeah, because everyone's saying like, oh, like Democrats are gonna screw things up or whatever. It's like, well, Trump did it first. Trump incentivized the lockdowns. He is with like the whole like and the whole counting and people's like, oh, we can't trust the damn it, we can't trust the numbers. But it's like, yeah, we can't trust the numbers because you know. Trump incentivized the stacking of the numbers.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, like, so people say calling, who might call us like right wing, like nut jobs or whatever. It's like, well, we called out our own side, So how does that make us nut jobs? We're calling out our own side here, you know. I'm not exactly thrilled with like, the performance of Trump, the last, his last year in office.
Yeah, and I attribute a lot of that, unfortunately, because like you said, there was a lot of last year is like where we really saw the blob at work. And, that the what they call the um what is it, the deep state. I mean, because that's where like where you get like your Dr. Fauci's and your your 3-letter acronym programs of the government that really run things.
Yeah, but then I know I know the president isn't as powerful, as people think he is, but it's like he's still the fucking president. So like I can't give him a pass because like
No, I'm not. I'm giving.
he's either really powerful or he's not powerful at all. So it's like he has to be one or the other. Like if Trump is like a fighter as they said, he should have fought them and he should have like said screw to you, screw to you guys, all of his advisors or whatever, and it's just like all right, we're just gonna like he wanted to open up during Easter, right? And then but then all of a sudden someone came and like whispered into his ear or whatever, and then all of a sudden it's like oh no, forget it, we're gonna go for a lockdown.
Yeah,
And so it's
I
like
like that.
yeah, so it's like yeah, so he completely went against his character and just like kind of cut or caved to his advisors, and it's like it's either Trump has all the power in the world or he doesn't have, or he's a puppet. It has it can't be both. It can't be simultaneous, you know.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so I again I voted for him again, and I wanted him back in office. I really did, because I was hopeful. I was hopeful, but that doesn't mean like I lifted him up to the same status as like God or sainthood. I just thought that he was the best. He was the best option uh, for for a more prosperous future. That's all it was.
Well, speaking of other like crappy government stuff, I guess this is a little bit of buyer's remorse too, is because I was finished paying like my taxes for for last year's taxes, and obviously like I got a I got a tax return and stuff like that, and uh, yeah, I'm not going to disclose what I got, but I'm getting money back, and
Mm-hmm.
my wife, I was telling her, was, oh yeah, we're getting like quote unquote this much back, and it's like, oh wow, okay, that's great, and it's like, but then she was saying it's like, well, I was kind of explaining her like how it all works. It's like, well, the reason I'm getting that money back is because the government took way too much money away from me to begin with, and so now they're giving me back my money. And she's like, wait a second, so why don't they just like not take that money? It's like, bingo,
Yeah.
exactly. It's like,
Yeah, no, I think people, yeah, if people had to like cut a check on on April 15th themselves, then they would definitely be more engaged. They would definitely be more, uh, was it plugged in to like what's going on, and like they would for sure have
like
not voted for Joe Biden.
I mean, for for someone in like my tax bracket, tax day should not be like I was like, oh wow, awesome tax day. Like, no, 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 no. Do never have that feeling like where like you're happy to pay your taxes. Like that should never be your response. I'm not happy paying my taxes. To be honest, like yeah, okay, I'm glad I'm getting my money back, but I'm pissed that like they took that money from me to begin with. What were they doing with it?
Yeah, no, yeah,
I
back when I
don't.
was, back, not back when, but when I was actually making enough money to pay taxes, it's like it fucking hurt.
Yeah.
It fucking hurt. Um,
On top of like not only the federal stuff, but like all the fucking
yeah, all the
state.
state taxes too.
And I'm
Yeah,
getting a sizable state return too. That's the other thing that's like pissing me off. It's like, what the fuck? Like
I know.
I'm
It's
not.
like you took that much money. Fuck you guys.
Well, and we're already paying into the Ponzi scheme that is Social Security that we're never gonna get. Like our generation is never gonna get anything back from that.
Yeah.
And
No.
that's
Exactly.
become like we're essentially like the government is taking money from us and using it, and saying like, oh well, we're holding it on, holding it, just in a bin for you guys to use later in life when you retire. Horseshit.
No, of
We're
course
never
not.
gonna get that money back.
Yeah, because if like because like the whole idea of Social Security was, the original idea for Social Security was voluntary. Like for some whatever reason, like
It was
you couldn't
voluntary.
open up a savings account or whatever yourself. So you paid the government to basically hold on to the money for you.
It was a
And,
it was supposed to be a temporary voluntary program
right.
that FDR created, and then they ended up like, oh well, just like I said, anytime there's any sort of crisis, the president or the bureaucratic government creates these programs, and they're supposed to be quote unquote temporary, and they never fucking go away.
Right. And then they extend or they or they never go away. I mean, kind of like the Patriot Act, which did have a continue, and every year since 9/11, it's been just basically rubber stamped into continuation.
Yeah, that's ridiculous, and I'm shocked that there hasn't been more uproar over that.
I know, like every single year since 9/11, every single year it's been rubber stamped. And if you don't know what the Patriot Act is, it basically says fuck you and fuck your civil liberties.
Well, there was. Well, we're gonna be talking about this movie like a little bit later on, but there's a great line from Law Abiding Citizen where they're going after Gerard Butler's character, Jamie Foxx's, and he's been kind of, maybe rightfully so, but he's been kind of like terrorizing members of like the government and like kind of the judicial services, and he's breaking into like this one like area that he had. It's like, wait, it's like, what about it? The cops like, what about his civil liberties? Like Jamie Foxx cares like, fuck his civil liberties, and he just breaks it. That's
Yeah,
what the Patriot Act is.
yeah, that's what that for that says that the government cannot illegally search or seize your property. Um, Gone is your right, right for basically being charged before being detained.
They're gonna use that like somehow, some way, that's gonna end up being used against the people.
They're the capital capital erections, a la
Yeah,
what's his face? God, that senator. Oh, Schumer. Yeah,
yeah,
Chucky Schumer. Um, yeah, quoting the great Chuck Schumer there. Yeah, because the capital erection. Yeah, they already started doing that. Like people who are trying to, after January 6th, they're trying to get home, and they're automatically put on the no-fly list.
yeah,
Yeah, there you go. There's your fuck your civil liberties.
yeah,
It's
ridiculous.
already happening. People think that, like when like the whole like social score in China is like, oh well, that's like good thing that's not here happening in America.
Here,
The president of the United States got banned off of Twitter. The
yeah,
president of the United States.
yep. It's getting to the point where it's like uh, I don't even really know like what there is left for us to really do as far as like exercising our rights. Like I mean, they are just dying, and no, and honestly, a lot of people don't seem to give a fuck.
No.
That's the thing that worries me is like nobody either they don't know what's going on, which is obviously like a failure of our education, our government education system.
Hmm.
They don't know their rights for one, and they're being told how awful and evil America is. But then the people that do know, like they're like, well, whatever.
You say, oh yeah, what are we gonna do? What's on Netflix?
I mean, the thing is, like, wars were fought over like much less than this.
Yeah, I know. I keep saying, dude, like fucking, we went to war against the lone superpower on the planet at the time. This country went to war with the lone superpower at the time over a tax of 2% or like 5%.
And we're getting close to having to pay a 60% tax in this fucking state. That's insane.
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah,
And nobody
people don't know people don't know the history of this country. You know, it's sad because like if they knew like the actual history, you know, they'd be on our side. Sorry, folks, we're having a little. I don't know. I'm having technical difficulties. My camera keeps blinking in and out. But I think it can still hear me, so it should be all gravy.
I'm still good, right?
Yeah, you're.
Okay.
Interestingly enough, your feed is the only thing not having problems tonight. Because usually it is your feed.
Yeah, I'm kind of shocked.
Yeah, me too. This is really weird. I don't
It's
know.
opposite day.
Yeah, it's opposite day. Um, yeah, but like I was saying, we went to war. Like, yeah, America decided to go to war with. What would it be like? It'd be like if Jamaica went to war with the United States. That's what it would have been like.
Yeah, kind of, something, similar to that. Yeah.
You know, that's the equivalent of what the colonists did to when they decided to go to war Great Britain, because Great Britain was the power,
Of the world.
of the world. You could talk about your Spanish, your Royal Spanish courts or whatever, but really the British Empire, it's the empire part was deserted because they had fucking colonies everywhere.
Yep.
So yeah, it's like today if Jamaica rose up against the United States, that's how it would be. That's the comparison I would give it. And interestingly enough, it was only 30% of the population of the colonies that rose up and actually fought the war against the British.
Right. That's even the crazier thing about that too.
Right. So I'm saying like why is it that we can't even stand up to our own government, that we're the ones who's supposed to be the bosses.
Yeah. No, I mean they've, like I said, we've been lulled from, a lot of our generation has been lulled into nothingness through like the education system, through just a lot of propaganda. That's what it is. And like nobody nobody understands anything about history.
Mm-hmm.
And like in the minds of people, like, I mean, every time, like, it has killed more people, like at least 200 million people, if not more.
What? It's killed 200?
Communism.
Oh, dude, yeah, like 100, like yeah, almost 200, like 190 million people.
Yeah, it's insane. But hey, it just hasn't been tried the right way. Give me a break.
Right? Yeah, that's always the refrain. It's like, oh no, it just hasn't been done. Interestingly, it's in a weird way that's really racist because because all the countries that has tried to implement communism or whatever hasn't necessarily been white. I mean, the only other one was probably Russia, and you could like maybe call that white adjacent.
Yeah.
But it's like like Cuba, Vietnam, China, North Korea, where else? Venezuela.
Yeah.
Where else? Well, like specifically communism, but I mean, if we're gonna put in social, well, then Germany. But that's again, you might call that white adjacent.
Yeah, like, I would say like it's the countries you spoke of are, I think, pretty like accurate as far as like the
right, but the constant refrain of like, oh, it just hasn't been implemented properly. That's kind of racist because like all the countries that's tried communism have been non-white countries.
Yeah.
So you're saying like, oh yeah, these people, yeah, oh those like subhumanoid mongoloids, yeah, they couldn't possibly gotten it right. But no, we the United States will make communism great again.
I mean, if you would just submit and like to your social betters, yeah, it'd work.
Again, like how, like how is that not racist?
Yeah.
Like you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, sorry, folks. Yeah, still having a little bit problems here.
It's one of those days, right? It
It's
just
just one
happens.
of those days.
Because we're talking about important stuff, so of course it's gonna break down today.
Yeah. Well, it's not necessarily the internet uh, today, but more like mechanical.
Mm, they're hacking in, buddy.
I know, right? Skynet.
What else was on the docket as far as news go that we were going to talk about? Oh well, I mean, speaking of our social betters, the illustrious Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Turns out, her recent thing is like how Ted Cruz and some other Senate Republicans like were they should be charged with murderous intent, because they tried to kill her, remember, and because they're part of the reason that there was riots at the Capitol building,
Right.
and and it's akin to rape and all these other things, and it turns out that she actually wasn't there, not where the riot was happening, at least.
Right. Yeah, because initially she came out and was talking about her experience and saying how she made it sound as if she was in the Capitol building itself, and where they were having the Senate what is it, the electoral like confirmation.
Yeah.
But it turns out she was in her office, which are in a completely different part, in a completely different building, in a completely different part of the Capitol Hill complex, as it's now coming to be known. So like she really wasn't in like immediate danger.
Now, okay. Now, here's what a normal person would have done. Like, had she like been like, "Oh wow, I was pretty close, like kind of being in a little bit of trouble there. It's a little scary, but I'm glad I wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I'm glad I wasn't in danger." But that's not what she does. No, she uses her googly eye crocodile tears and creates this fake story that's not real, and to it's I for whatever ends that she has, and it's just uh, and people
Right. No,
like
and then, yeah, she like she was making like all these vague, um, what is it? Vague associations, or she was trying to tie it to like abuse, and like kind of like maybe like hinting that she herself is a victim of like sexual assault or whatever.
no,
Um, yeah,
I
and then like in the face of like an actual sexual assault survivor, I forget, like something Mace,
yeah,
like a fellow representative, who actually survived the sexual assault, and like went and actually made a report, and all like the things you do when you're actually assaulted.
not just like not
Not just
just
go on Twitter. It's like Twitter is not 911, bitch.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
she demeans what it means to be a sexual assault survivor. And I think any woman who worth her ovaries, should be calling her out on this shit.
Yeah, it's like it's one of those things. Like, if you're give us names, if they've done the crime, like let's find the evidence. Let's get these people off the streets, because if they're doing that stuff, they're dangerous. But if not, then you're making a mockery of people who've actually gone through this. And honestly, people who've actually gone through this stuff are probably much less likely, because of everything that goes on in the media. It's like I don't want to be any part of that. And so they go into silence and they either kill themselves or they, just kind of let it keep happening, or whatever. And we end up looking at those people much more skeptically instead of like, okay, well, let's take a look and let's you're making that accusation. We'll take a look at it and we'll see what's going on.
Yeah, just like run with the evidence, or take let the evidence lead wherever it goes.
Yeah.
I mean, interestingly enough, like a show that I've been watching for years, The Expanse. One of the leads was accused of sexual misconduct, sexual harassment, what have you. And his character was written off the show. They killed his character. Um, and like we don't even know what like the studio supposedly said that they were gonna start an investigation or whatever, but it's like why couldn't you leave it up in the air? Why couldn't you just say like, oh, he needs time to recover from the show is called The Expanse. You probably if you
Yeah,
guys
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it, but I've heard of it.
yeah, it's really good. It's really good, and it's really good writing, and obviously there's a push for like like gender parity, but they actually do a really good job of it. Not where it's like like, oh, girl power and all that kind of stuff, but they actually they actually write very competent characters, which which I'm able to like get behind. Say, oh, okay, even though she's a woman, but it's like she's written very well, and like she's not just a two-dimensional like character or
Years too.
yeah, Mary Sue, where it's like, okay, yeah, like this person's been through shit, and like she's and like she proved herself why she's such a strong character and whatnot. But yeah, apparently, like last summer, all these accusations came out against them, and and I'm saying, okay, let's have an investigation. Uh, let's see if let's scrutinize the accusations and let's see what's what. And the studio could have been like, okay, we'll basically put you in limbo. The character like does like this really intense maneuver in space, and that could cause him to stroke out. And when in actuality they cause him to stroke out and he dies. But but instead of letting the investigation take place and then letting up until conclusion, they could have just had him like they could have had him like they could have written him off as oh, like he's gonna have to go in for like physical therapy, and he won't be able to be a part of like the normal crew of the show. But no, they killed him off.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of a shame.
Yeah, and then, like, and again, it's like it just looks bad because of the amount of accusations that have been coming out against him. So he's essentially being buried by accusations, not necessarily the like valid accusation or provenly valid accusation. It's just accusations.
Well, and it's the same story, like where and pretty much it doesn't matter what the truth is. He's done. He's never going to get a job again.
Right.
At least
exactly.
in Hollywood.
Yeah, exactly.
And
exactly.
it's the same thing that happened with Johnny Depp, where all the stuff that was put against him, none of it was true. And actually, it was the exact opposite. It was Amanda Beard who did all that shit to him,
Right.
and he lied about it. But no, it's like, but he's the one that's cast out. It's
yeah. I mean,
ridiculous.
He lost Pirates of the Caribbean. He's lost the Harry Potter spinoff. Fantastic Beasts.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like but for some reason for Amber Heard, they're still kind of weighing the decision whether or not to keep her in Aquaman 2. It's just like, are you fucking kidding me? It's like it's come out that she is provably like the one who started shit, and and lied about being beaten by him, and what have you. And so, but she gets a little bit, she gets more deference than Johnny Depp, a proven bangable star.
And I mean, even like Johnny Depp, like where like his ex-wives even came out. It's like, listen, like that's.
Yeah, I mean, Winona Ryder came out and said like vouched for him, and his ex-wife came out and vouched for him.
It's like, hey, I don't even married to him, but like.
Speaking, Amber Heard's parents came out and vouched for him. Amber Heard's parents came out. And
Really, I didn't hear that. Oh my god. Oh.
So yeah, our daughter's a kind of a bitch. You know.
Oh god. I mean, I honestly like I will probably not watch Aquaman 2 just or anything that she's in. It's just because why would I want to support her in any way?
Right, and I mean not and not to say because I have my problem with Johnny Depp too because he's a flaming leftist.
Oh, of course he is, but
yeah, but I mean he doesn't deserve what's been happening to him.
No.
Yeah, I mean he can have any dumb fuck view. He can hold any dumb fuck view or opinion he wants. Whatever, I don't care.
Yeah, it's
but,
like
him being like everything being torn away from him based on the accusation of this lying bitch, this provable lying bitch.
Yeah.
Then I don't let me qualify that provable lying bitch. But yeah, like there's no consequences for Amber Heard. It's like one of the greatest things that ever happened was I think for justice was that woman who made like something like 30 accusations against men, and she finally got prosecuted for making false statements or whatever.
God.
Yeah, this was like 2 or 3 years ago, but it's like like this woman who made 30 something accusations against men. Some of them like went through, some of them, and other times like they just ruined like the man's life. Like she was actually prosecuted for making false claims, and it's like finally, thank God. But it's just like now we have another proven lying bitch, and nothing's gonna happen to her.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, even if she gets kicked, even if she gets removed from Aquaman 2, like that's like probably the worst thing that's gonna happen to her.
Yeah, pretty much. All right. Well, I feel a little bit better.
Yeah, I've achieved catharsis.
Lesson is don't believe lying bitches.
Yeah. Again, provable lying bitches. Gotta love that qualifier. All right. Well, since we've achieved catharsis, let's move on to the last bit of the agenda, which is the movie review.
My favorite part.
Your favorite part. Yes. And as continuing in the theme of this month, Tasty Slice, we will be reviewing Rebel Without a Cause, starring
and Salminio, like to a lesser extent, but he was starring in it too.
Yeah, true.
No. See, here's the thing: if we were
maybe one of my favorite childhood actors is Jim Backus.
Yeah, Thurston Howell III.
Thurston Howell III, Mr. Magoo, the voice of Mr. Magoo. I forgot he was in this.
Yeah. Well, I was saying is like now if we were ladies, Andy, this still could be Tasty Slice Month because it's James Dean.
Right. Exactly. You're absolutely right. Even though he was only in like 6 movies.
Well, and he was only like a big star in 3 of them. All that came out in the same year. There was Rebel Without a Cause, which is his only top billing.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was Giant with Rock Hudson and Elizabeth Taylor, who was a Tasty Slice for us last year.
Yeah.
And then East of Eden.
Ah, that's right. But yeah, let's
some bit parts in like 3 other movies, but yeah, he actually never got to. So I think there was East of Eden. He was alive for the release when they were released in theaters. He had died because he died September 30th, 1955, and this movie and Giant appeared at the end. So this movie released in October, and I think Giant released in December of 1955.
Yeah, Rebel premiered or released was January 27th. Yeah, January 27th of 55.
But yeah, so why don't you give the synopsis of the movie, Andy?
All right, here's a synopsis. After moving to a new town, troublemaking teen Jim Stark is supposed to have a clean slate, although being the new kid in town brings its own problems. While searching for some stability, Stark forms a bond with a disturbed classmate, Plato, and falls for a local girl, Judy. However, Judy is the girlfriend of a neighborhood tough, Buzz. When Buzz violently confronts Jim and challenges him to a drag race, the new kid's real trouble begins.
Well, it's this is a a great L.A. Uh, um, LA historical landmark type of movie. Obviously, like a lot of there's they go to the Griffith Observatory on several occasions. The school that he attends is actually Santa Monica High School.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they have like some of the other areas like around those, like they're kind of like towards like Santa Monica cliffs and stuff like that.
Right.
For,
Yeah.
like
And the house that they that James Dean's character runs away to is the house from another movie we reviewed, Sunset Boulevard.
That's right. Oh yeah, that's right. So that's and I had like a little bit of a theory is that I actually think that maybe is so Sunset Boulevard and Rebel Without a Cause are in the same universe, and so this movie takes place after the events of Sunset Boulevard, and like the house is abandoned after what's her face gets hauled off to jail, and it becomes this desiccated ruin that they kind of like hang out in.
Well, yeah. Well, what is it? The character of Plato mentions that. I think what it's meant to what is we're supposed to led to believe is that Plato's family used to live in that mansion.
I don't think so though, because that's never specifically said. Because I've watched because after you said that I watched it again,
Uh-huh.
and I didn't see that. I think it was just more of like because he was kind of like a troubled youth that like it was more of he was like yes his family was well off obviously and they lived in a very big house, but I don't think that's where they used to live. I think it's just like a place where
Well, no, because he mentioned it at the observatory.
I mean he calls it his house, but like it's no one's house. Like
But then
it's just
we know that he comes from money, so it's not out of the realm of possibility.
well for my purposes I'm sticking to my guns because I like my theory.
Okay, and again, I'm not saying that you can't have your theory, but I'm offering another perspective. But
Okay.
but we know what happens here. I'm always proven right. So you might as well just concede now.
You know what? I'm gonna dig deeper and I'm gonna prove myself correct.
All right, if you say so.
But anyways, what this movie to me is, it really shows the importance of good dads in, for like kids because, Jim's dad, played by James Dean, like was
Jim Backus.
Yeah, played by Jim Backus, who is a really good actor, by the way. I like him.
Yeah, he's very underrated.
And he's kind of a cucked loser.
Yeah.
And that's the problem that like Jim has with him. He's like, I need you to be a man. It's like, and like he wants a strong like man in his life. And like from the very first act, the only like man that he respected was that detective that like kind of like
the cop.
Straight. And it's like you could see where it's like that guy was strong, like where it's like you're gonna hit me, and like he'd like knocked his block off, and it's like you want to go, and it's like no, and but he actually like talked to him like like you're a kid, I'm the adult, but like but he didn't like just. But he actually talked to him like at his level and like like an adult like a parent would. Like his dad doesn't. Like his dad was trying to be like his best friend, and was just kind of like run over by like his mom and his wife, and does it, just kind of,
or his mother. I think it's his mother.
yeah.
Like the dad's mother, not.
That's right. I say like yeah, and Judy's father kind of like kind of ignores her, and like she ends up like, and
I don't know. Like I think that felt always weird to me. I want to say that I think there was a little bit of a Woody Allen kind of feel between
because
them.
the thing that like I couldn't quite figure out is because there was that point like where she's trying to kiss her dad, like not in like a in a weird sexual way, but like where a daughter kisses like her dad,
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" He kind
Yeah,
of
it
like
kind of it flips out a little bit.
it was so I was like that felt so weird. Like so there
Yeah, but
has
like it's just like it feels weird because like again it's like that weird kind of insinuation of like there's being some sort of impropriety where it's like like maybe like it's screwed up maybe it's screwed up the mind his mind too much where it's like any kind of affection that uh that she tries to show him like in a non creepy kind of way he just can't like disassociate and so like he had
like repressed sexual thing probably going on too.
yeah no exactly
But like I said, that's also another theory because that's something I couldn't quite figure out myself.
mm.
But anyways, like because of that,
Right,
like
because it's like even though because it was weird because in the beginning when we're introduced to Judy and like she was saying like how her dad treated her so bad, but then when the detective came back and said like oh yeah your mom's on his way, it's like my mom not my dad. It's like but I thought your dad is the one that like slapped you or whatever. But it's like
exactly that's like I said, I couldn't quite figure out their relationship. Like that's the and like I said, I've seen this like probably like 4 or 5 times. I watched it like I watched it twice this weekend, and I
uh-huh.
couldn't quite figure that part out between those two.
Yeah. Well, my guessing is like there's like some sort of inappropriate relationship between the father and the daughter. But again, it goes to your point about how this movie's about bad fathers. So
Yeah, and then Plato's dad, pretty much abandoned his family, and his mom is just never there. That both his parents are just absent.
mhm.
Initially, I thought they had died, but I think it was like no, it's like they're just absent parents. Like
Right, the mom is off somewhere else, and the dad is like in Chicago or something.
yeah, I
Like
mean
kind of pulling like a Tyler Durden dad, and Tyler Durden's dad from Fight Club, where it's like starting new families like in you know every
yeah.
city like every 10 years or something.
God damn, that's a little weird. I gotta rewatch that movie, by the way. Like I haven't seen that
Yeah,
in a
Fight
while.
Club. Yeah,
Yeah. We might have to do that someday. But
yeah.
so there that kind of like, and those are our three main characters. And it really like that kind of like sets up all like the tension and the problems that these characters have.
Mhm.
Everything that like they deal with is kind of based off of the bad relationships that they have with their dads.
Right. Yeah. Keep. If you can't, just keep talking for a second. I gotta go check on
Yeah.
something.
Okay. But so anyways, you Jim, played by James Dean, he's trying to kind of reset his life and try to like make things work. His family's kind of answer to Asians based off you know what we see in the movie, and he's trying to like make friends at school, and ends up like he gets in kind of into problems with like the kind of like the bad kids at school, and during the field trip that they go to the Griffith Observatory, he ends up getting into a knife fight with Judy's boyfriend Buzz, and that gets broken up. But they decide to like go to do what's called the cheeky run, where they run two cars as fast as they can, try to like and to they're gonna run them off the cliff, and the first person to jump out of the car is the chicken, which is that's the other thing. Is like he's constantly like that's it felt like this is something that was that Back to the Future kind of took off of, where it's like calling Jim a chicken is like the worst thing you could do.
Right. Yeah. No, I got that vibe too.
Yeah, and it's like, and I think it has to do a lot with his dad because he feels like his dad is a chicken in a lot of
Right. Yeah,
ways,
because
and
because he can't stand up to his mom, his wife, or
yeah,
to his mother. Like there was that scene where Jim was coming home and Jim came home, and his dad was like cleaning this mess off the floor and said, "Oh, I wanted to clean it up before your mom saw it." It's kind of like the implication is like he like his mom would have yelled at him and like kind of like the henpecked husband, and just
yeah,
like and like and he's like wearing like the apron, like
yeah.
even more emasculating and just like why and he kind of says, why can't you stand up to her? you know it's just like I need to see what a man is, and you're not doing that, and you're not doing that. And essentially this movie is like chronicling the boomer. um
Yeah,
it's like, because like if you think about it, like all like all those kids had cars, or like if not like all of them, like there was the at the cliffs, there was like there was a row of all these cars.
right,
It's like, and they couldn't, and so it's like they couldn't have all been like their parents' cars. Like some of the, like some of those kids probably had jobs or whatever, and like was able to buy a car for themselves. I mean, Jim had his own car,
right.
which was likely bought for him by his parents.
His parents did buy that car for him.
Yeah, and so yeah, it's in a weird way, this movie is about the boomer generation, how like they were given all this freedom, but then no like responsibilities or uh, no guidance, essentially.
Well,
you know
and
be,
that's because there's that's just like it's like, oh, it's something to do. That was kind of like that's what they were all looking for, is something to do.
mm-hmm.
Which is why they were like, why are we? Because I think they like when they were getting ready to do the chicken, it's like, why are we doing this? It's kind of
Right.
stupid. It's like, oh, it's something to do. It's like,
Yeah, it's like, what else are we gonna do? It's like, well, you gotta. But it's like, yeah,
and
but again, it's just like because they didn't have good role models.
yeah,
Jim, like the only like decent role model in Jim's life was the policeman.
and that that's the only person that he like looked up to and like responded to.
Right. Yeah, I know. Like he came to like that crisis moment where he was asking his dad, it's like what do I do about honor, or how should I resolve this situation with honor? And it's just like the dad was like, I don't know.
Well, and
Um,
and in kind of an even sadder way is that Plato saw Jim as his father figure.
right. Yeah. So that was another kind of sad
Now,
state of affairs.
I don't know if like because there was a picture in his locker, and I heard that was supposedly like James Dean's picture or Jim's picture in his locker, but I didn't quite see that. Like I thought it was somebody
Right.
else.
Yeah, no, because it's like this. Jim's brand new. Like he's brand new to the school. Like they have no like the only interaction that Plato and he had prior was at the police station, and it's because Plato got called in because he like killed puppies. Not
Wait,
not a terribly good sign.
right. I I totally forgot about that. Yeah, that's right. He was killing puppies with his gun. I was like,
Yeah,
oh my god, he's a serial
exactly.
killer.
Yeah, no, exactly. He's a serial killer in the making. Um,
And like now
so,
it's never actually like spoken, but he's gay.
oh yeah, no, definitely. Oh, I totally got that. No, of course.
Yeah. That's the other thing. It's like, oh my, it's just like, but it was kind of sad that he saw Jim as like his dad.
No, yeah, it's like one of those weird Freudian things where it's like, but no, not yeah, Freud, but it's like not the Oedipus, but like the Electra kind of way where like for Plato he wanted Jim to be his lover and his father.
Yeah.
Um, no, but even though like he knew that he couldn't possess him that way. Um, but like yeah, but like it didn't stop him from like fantasizing. I mean like the backstory that he created for Jim at the Bluffs for Judy was like, that was like the most telling thing in the world. He's like, oh yeah, like, he goes by, his name is Jim, but he goes, but if if he really likes you, he lets him call you Jamie. And
Yeah,
it's
I
like,
was like,
what?
like,
It's like, oh yeah,
that,
and then like and then he's gonna take me hunting. Kind of like it's like, okay,
yeah, kind of a creepy kid.
yeah,
Um, and so anyways, like, so Buzz and Jim go on the Chicky run, and for whatever reason, so Buzz's jacket gets caught on the door, which
yeah.
is like, did it stop you from hitting the brakes?
I
It's
know.
like,
It's just like, so
uh,
your foot still works. All you have to do is remove from the accelerator and shift it, 3 inches and hit the brake.
yeah, well, and that's the other thing too, where it's like, now I know on those cars, it's not like today where like you get like the really good brakes, like you get those old drum brakes are,
Mm-hmm.
you know they're not easy to stop. I'll say that.
Right.
But still, at least like make an effort to slow the car.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
like,
No. Exactly. That's all I'm asking for is an effort. Just let me know that you still got a brain in there.
I mean, maybe it's like his teenage brain is like, no, I'm not gonna be the chicken, and but yeah, he ends up getting caught. He goes off the mountain. The car explodes, and no one cares about Buzz after that. They just, they just all leave.
Yeah. No. They all just like break out, and it's like, oh shit.
The only one that seems to kind of care is Jim.
Right.
Even Judy's like, I guess he's dead.
I know, right? Yeah, and it immediately moves on to Jim after Buzz.
Immediately.
It's like
Um,
not even like kind of taking like 5 minutes to mourn him, but it's just
uh,
like, oh well, Buzz is dead. On to Jim.
it's like, poor Buzz.
Seriously.
And he wasn't that bad of a guy. Like, you actually kind of liked Buzz before like they started the Chicky run. Like, he kind of redeemed himself, and he showed
Right.
that he actually he actually liked Jim. It was nothing personal. After like the knife fight, like he started to respect him. But the other thing that was kind of funny about that was, so like a lot of like his group gets called in, like to because obviously like the police found the wreckage and all that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and they're trying to figure out what happened. And uh, he that scene with Jim and his parents where he's like trying to like, no, I gotta like do something about this. Like I I was there. Like I was responsible, and I gotta confess to this. Like I gotta be a man and like fess up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I gotta live with this. And there's parents like, no, like you know, the other people were there, and it's like, and they're trying to like, well, we're gonna move. We're just gonna like this. We're gonna sweep this under the rug, and it's gonna be okay. And that's just
Mm-hmm.
like that's not what I want to have happen. Like, and
Mm-hmm.
he ends up, it's like you guys aren't listening to me.
Right. Yeah.
And
In a weird way, he's begging for consequences.
yeah,
Consequences that his parents aren't gonna give to him.
and he ends up going to the police station on his own. But then, like as the parts of Buzz's gang see him, it's like, oh, he's gonna sell us out, and he actually never did.
Right.
Um, and he ends up having to go on the run, which is where like he meets up with Judy and Plato and the Sunset Boulevard house,
Mm-hmm.
and uh, Sal. Well, because Sal gets beat up to like because they were trying to figure out where Jim lives, so they beat the shit out of Plato, got his address, and that's where Plato ends up grabbing his gun, and he's looking for some sort of like I think vengeance,
Mm-hmm.
and all hell breaks loose from there.
Yeah. Hey, do you remember what the name of the character Joan Crawford played in Sunset Boulevard?
Let me look that up.
Yeah, for some reason I had like a really interesting theory about it.
That Joan Crawford played? Was she in it?
Oh, I'm sorry. No.
You're talking about Gloria Swanson, right?
Swanson, yeah.
Norma Desmond.
Norma Desmond. Okay, yeah, okay. I don't know why I thought that Joan
They do
Crawford.
have some similar like features.
Yeah, that's what I know. Oh no, because I was just because Plato's actual name is John Crawford.
That's right.
Yeah, so that's what I thought maybe that was the connection. Maybe it could have been the connection to Sunset Boulevard.
You know what I didn't realize is that Buster Keaton was in that movie. No way. He was
really?
He was one of the
bridge. Oh,
he
played himself. He played himself.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Oh my god, that's.
Yeah, neither did I.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like trying to, because I was just remembering Plato's character, or like the character of Plato's actual name was John Crawford.
Yeah.
And I thought, the connection to, the Sunset Boulevard house was that maybe, for some reason I thought it was Joan Crawford who played Norma Desmond.
They do look very similar, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think Joan Crawford at that time was a little bit younger.
Okay. Yeah, so I thought like maybe the character Norma Desmond was his mother or something.
God, wouldn't that be something?
Right. Yeah, because maybe Miracle, and he seemed, because he seemed like to be the only child. So I was like, maybe Norma Desmond married this man, by the name of Crawford, and like they had a child, and he was the only, he's the only child, and so like kind of like how Norma Desmond's character like goes crazy. It might Joan Crawford who played Norma Desmond, and maybe they're playing some kind of homage.
The filming of Rebel.
Oh, they did? Oh, okay.
Yeah, the house was finally torn down.
What a shame.
I know. They should have, honestly, I think they should have rebuilt it and like sold it. I think that would have been.
Yeah, or kept it in like museum.
Yeah, I think that would have been cool. But yeah, so Plato ends up kind of going. You start to see like his mental breakdown, like, and you start to see like where like he's not right in the head, kind of.
Right.
And it's like even like when.
Well, I mean, if you didn't, if the shooting of the puppies wasn't your first clue, then I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. I was like.
But yeah, like the unraveling started to happen like after he was assaulted by the boys, and his his attempts to go warn Jim.
By the way, he was attacked by them twice.
Right.
And because they finally found them in the house, and Jim and Judy were like in another part of the I mean, it's a massive like mansion, and so like Plato thought that like he like had abandoned them,
right?
Like his parents, parents did. And he grabbed his gun, he shot a couple of the guys, nearly shot Jim, and like he ended up like running away. And he shot at the cops, and I guess like that area was like really close to the Griffith Observatory because they ended up like running there. He ends up hiding in there, and like Jim ends up stealing the clip out of the gun. And and he even like tried to show to like the police, like, it's like, I got it, don't shoot him, it's like, it's gonna be okay. And they end up just blasting away at him too. And it's just like, oh fuck, it's maybe honestly it's probably for the best because he probably would have ended up a serial killer. But
yeah,
so it kind of ends on that note. But it sort of, I guess it sort of ends on a happy note in a way too, at least for Jim, because he tells his parents, like, he introduced them to Judy. He's like, she's my friend, and like, because he's never made friends before.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like, well, maybe it's kind of the same thing with like Buzz. Like, Plato, he's dead, and whatever. Yeah, he's dead.
Yeah, it's like that's like one of the jarring things about these old movies where it's like they have like at the time it might have been perfectly acceptable, but it's like now that now that we watch it as like a more modern audience, it's like God, it's like they're not having like very realistic reactions to things.
I it has its flaws. Don't get me wrong. But Rebel has its flaws.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's still a great movie. Kind of a very dark in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
There's moments of levity. There's moments of of kind of some hope. But yeah, this is a very dark movie. Uh, some would say that I have not seen East of Eden at all.
Mm-hmm.
I watched Giant. I I don't know whether I like this one, like this movie, or Giant better.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Maybe with James Dean being kind of he is the lead character in this one. I
Mm-hmm.
kind of like this one the most of the ones I've watched with him.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's like I said, it's good. I like it a lot. But yeah, it's not a perfect movie by any means, especially nowadays. But if I'm trying to look at it from like a 1955 audience,
Mm-hmm.
I would say yeah, I like I would say this is a really damn good movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would tend to agree with you.
And
I think
obviously, yeah,
I think it like yeah, I think it's neat. I think its historical and chronological time. I think it would have been like it would been more than a fine movie. It would have been it'd probably be a huge success. I pretty sure it was
yeah.
well received
Uh,
anyways. Um,
so well, at the time, now this is 1955. Its budget was like 1.5 mil, and it ended up making 4.5 million, which I think
oh
at that time was pretty damn successful.
yeah, I mean, with the type of story it was in today's money, that's probably like 50 million in today's
Yeah,
money, and
yeah.
then it made four times its money back, so 50 million. That's $200 million box office today.
Yeah, so it was a successful movie, and obviously it's like it's one of the all-time classics.
Hmm.
This is I mean, James Dean, his best career move is Dying. You know,
Yeah, yeah, go on top. Go out on top.
yeah. I mean, he had three movies that were huge hits in 1955, and then he died.
Right.
So
Yeah, he went out on top. Which is yeah, it's a weird blessing if you think about it because I think about Robert De Niro and just like the trajectory of his career where it's like stellar, amazing career, like can't be paralleled. But then later in his later life, it's like
the Irishman, this decade, I don't think he's been in anything
yeah,
I've really
but in a
enjoyed.
weird way, The Irishman is kind of sad too because it's like him trying to capture kind of like that magic that he had like back when he did like Goodfellas or Casino, something onto that level.
He was there, but it was there in a different way.
Right. But it still makes me sad because I know like what he's capable of. I know what he's done. But now like what he's been reduced to, it's just because
Had he died,
a lot of a lot of the movies lately that he's been making are purely for financial reasons. Like he just needs the money.
yeah, well, and had he died like 20 years ago, he probably would have made my dead living my top dead actors list. It's
Yeah, very possibly. Yeah, mine too. But it is what it is.
yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, the reason I chose this because this is my classic Tasty Slice movie. Maybe I should have gone with Giant, because Liz Taylor was in there, and goddamn,
Yeah,
she
but
was
I don't know. But we already awarded her
with
the on
Cleopatra.
with the honor of Tasty Slice. So
True, but Natalie Wood, and I felt her story was very interesting. This movie.
why don't we give our ratings for it, and then we can
Okay,
wrap
well,
it up with you kind of regaling us with the backstory of Natalie Wood.
okay. Well, I would say this is probably a 3.5 for me.
Reading my mind, dude. I was thinking the exact same thing.
It's like I said, it's a great movie. It deserves to be watched. Like honestly, like I'll probably watch this movie again. I really like it. It has its flaws. Obviously, like James Dean is known for his scenery chewing.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. In the very first opening, like his interaction with like Plato, and then also like Judy in the police station, and then his his reaction.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. It's like he chews scenery like no one I've ever seen. It's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. No. He chewed more wood than a beaver.
Yeah. Well, that's why in Giant, that's why Rock Hudson and him didn't get along, because like this guy like chews too much fucking scenery, which he does.
Yeah, he does.
Oh man. So, yeah, like I said, it has its flaws, but really damn good movie. Like I said, like the scene between like him and Jim and his parents. And like in the house when he's like talking about like he needs to confess to what happened with Buzz. Mm-hmm. That was a powerful fucking scene.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And but yeah, so that's my rating. That's why I give it a 3.5. Great cast, honestly, like all around. Good casting, good direction from Nicholas Ray, and yeah, it's just a great movie. Another Dennis Hopper movie, by the way, too.
Yeah. I saw. Yeah, dude, he was so young in this one.
Yeah, he's in Giant too. He had a more prominent role in Giant, but
let's see. Yeah, no, like he was so young.
So young, yeah.
But I also give this a 3.5. All basically all the same reasons as Robert's and all the same criticisms essentially.
Yeah, well, we've been a little bit off kilter the last few weeks, where we've had differing opinions on movies.
Well, yeah, but we both came. No, cause we squared, because for the Western month we kind of squared everything. So we still like we're still pretty simpatico.
That's true, but at the time, we were a little off kilter.
Yeah. We weren't, we weren't calibrated.
Yeah,
we were off calibration, as it were.
I was gonna have to throw some more schlock your way.
And you know how much I love schlock.
And there's actually a movie titled Schlock.
That's right. You thought I was like, I remember it was in our one of our text conversations. And you thought I was talking about a movie or something, but when I was actually talking about a descriptor, like schlock is actually a descriptor for something of poor quality.
Yeah.
But you thought I was talking about a movie, and then you looked it up, and it's like it actually turned out to be a title of a movie.
No, it's very meta because it's titled what it is.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, all right. That's our review for Rebel Without a Cause. Both me and Robert give it a 3.5. Would definitely recommend. It's one of those important, it's one of those important movies of of cinema. So.
And like I said, I would say now I've heard East of Eden's really good, and Giant's a really good movie too. Giant is fucking long, so be ready, and it's a little slow. Mm-hmm. So kind of be in the right mood.
So you've been warned.
Yeah, but Giant's a good movie. Okay. It's not Wyatt Earp. It's a good movie.
Good. It's funny because you hate. It sounds like you hate Wyatt Earp the same way I hate Last Jedi.
I'm mad that I wasted 3 hours of my life watching that movie. Like I said, I never thought a movie with Kevin Costner, Gene Hackman, and company that are in that movie would have been a bad movie, but it
Yeah,
was.
yeah, stacked roster like that, you'd be hard pressed to think that oh, that's a shit movie.
And the fact that he turned that down, he turned Tombstone down to do that movie, I'm just wow.
Yeah. But again, I think Kevin
For the
Costner.
better.
We're the richer for Kurt Russell taking up the
Because I
role.
will definitely watch Tombstone again. I will not watch Wyatt Earp ever again.
All right. Well, to close us out, why don't you regale us with some of the Natalie Wood tidbits that you came up with?
Yeah, so the reason I chose this movie because Natalie Wood, she was quite a looker at the time, but her story was kind of interesting too. So a few tidbits. She was a star in The Miracle on 34th Street, or one of the stars at least. So she'd been in movies for pretty much her entire life almost, and so to get in Rebel Without a Cause was interesting because she worked very hard to get this role, not just on the casting couch, but she actually worked hard to get the role, and because her image at the time is that she was very clean cut, very kind of very kind of a square, and I don't remember if it was she ended up having some sort of alcohol poisoning or a DUI, and the director of the movie, Nicholas Ray, and some of the cast ended up going to see her, and the doctor ended up calling her a goddamn degenerate. And it's like, did you hear that? Do I get the part now? You know, and so she worked very hard to get to be in this movie. And during the her and Nicholas Ray, the director, because she was 16 at the time, he was 45 or some in his mid 40s, and they were hooking up. But her and his character was actually supposed to be more prominent in this movie. But him and Nicholas Ray ended up getting to a fist fight over Natalie Wood, and so his role was diminished. So there was kind of that controversy. But more interesting with Natalie Wood, because she died under very suspicious circumstances. She had been in a few pretty good movies. She was in West Side Story, and she was in a bunch of movies I haven't seen, Bob and Carol and Ted and Al movies. I just never seen them. She did a little bit of TV. But she had married another fairly famous actor, Robert Wagner, and they
For those of
were married.
you not familiar, he played number 2 in the Austin Power movies.
That's right. That is right. I forgot about that. That's probably where our generation knows him from. But he's been in some other pretty big stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they were married. They broke up, and then they ended up getting remarried. And in the 80s, she was working on a movie with Christopher Walken, and this is actually pretty not in character actor for not character actor Christopher Walken, but when he was actually kind of a star, after The Deer Hunter, which is a great fucking movie. But they were on a movie titled Brainstorm, which was I think it was a sci-fi thriller that they were working on. And so Robert Wagner, her husband, and Christopher Walken, and I don't know who else was on this yacht that they were on, but she ended up drowning. She fell off the boat and drowned. It was ruled as kind of just that she just drowned, and it was an accident. So on and so forth. Everyone was kind of was interesting is that this case was actually reopened in 2018, and so they named so some evidence came about, it was in 2012, or the case, actually, never mind. The case was actually reopened in 2011. Sorry. So it's still fairly recently after there was, I think, like one of the, something came out like where somebody that was involved in the case had lied to the police during the initial investigation and said that that Natalie Wood and Robert Wagner had been in a huge argument that evening, and he alleged that Wood had been flirting with Christopher Walken, and that it caused Robert Wagner to become very jealous and enraged, and that Wagner had prevented this person from turning on the searchlight. Who's the person? It was hold on one second. I'm trying to find the person's name. I can't find the person's name that was like talking about this stuff. But anyways, so they like the person that was talking to the police, said that like they had prevented Robert Wagner prevented him from turning on the searchlights and notifying authorities, and alleged that Wagner was responsible for her death. And Christopher, and at the time, Christopher Walken hired a lawyer, and he was cooperating with authorities. So, and they said that Walken was not involved in any of it. And then in 2012, a coroner by the I can't even pronounce this guy's name, like Lakshman Chavish, and his last name I'm not gonna even try to pronounce. That amended Wood's death certificate and changed the cause of death from accidental drowning to drowning and other undetermined factors. The amended document included a statement that is not clearly established how Wood ended up in the water. Detectives instructed the coroner's office not to discuss or comment on the case. And on January of 2013, Los Angeles County Coroner's Office offered a 10-page addendum to Wood's autopsy report. The addendum stated that Wood might have sustained some of the bruises on her body. Forensic pathologist Michael Hunter speculated that Wood was particularly susceptible to bruising because she had taken the drug Synthroid. Okay. In 2020, a medical doctor and former intern of like one of the original medical examiners at the time of Wood's death stated that the bruises were substantial and fitting for someone who gets thrown off a boat. He claimed that he made these observations to that medical examiner, who reacted strangely as if he was involved in the cover-up. And in February of 2018, Wagner was named a person of interest by the police in the investigation, though he has denied any involvement. The police stated that they know that Wagner was the last person who was with Wood when she died. In a 2018 report, the Los Angeles Times cited the coroner's report from 2013, saying that Wood had unexplained fresh bruising on her right forearm, left wrist, and right knee, a scratch on her neck, and a superficial scrape on her forehead. Officials said that it is possible that she was assaulted before she drowned. So, to be honest, she was probably beaten. She was probably beaten by Robert Wagner and tossed off the fucking boat, and he killed her. That's
yeah. I saw I think Natalie Wood's daughter from a previous marriage or fling or whatever interviewed Robert Wagner, and it's weird because like the daughter calls Robert Wagner dad.
Well, those two did end up having. I think they did have a kid together. Let me take a look.
Right, but then like no, like I specifically I remember it was like it was her daughter from like a previous marriage or whatever. But yeah, but like Robert Wagner kind of like raised her, I guess. So like she calls him dad. Much in the same way, in the same way as Kate Hudson. Even though Kurt Russell's not her dad, she still refers to him as dad.
Right.
But yeah, it was very it was like I think it was like one of those like follow up interviews, like kind of commemorating her mom, but like yeah, she interviewed him, and it was really it felt very awkward.
Yeah, it just man, it's like I said, it's a weird. Well, because no, she did have a daughter with Wagner, Natasha Gregson Wagner, which I think that's who. Oh, that was no. That's never mind. You're right. That was with like another. Well, there was also Katie Wagner, who Katie Wagner. She had with Robert Wagner.
Right.
Natasha Gregson Wagner. She was had it through like another like flame or like her other husband.
Right.
But yeah, that's like I said. It's very very weird how that like. To me, like Robert Wagner killed it, dude. Like it's just. But she had, like I said, she had a very like kind of like not quite as bad like a life as Rita Hayworth, but it's still like pretty like just she was kind of like she was in a bunch of flings and kind of was definitely part of like the when you're at 16 and fucking getting fucked by like guy in his mid 40s like that's not normal either. There's something weird about that. And that's actually part of like why like Dennis Hopper, who was still like older, like I think he was like 22 or something like at the time, which is a lot more age appropriate. But like
it's more of a Romeo and Juliet relationship.
Yeah, it's just like part of that is like, dude, like she's 16, like what the fuck's wrong with you? Well, I mean, was it Nicholas Ray was kind of weird too. He was bisexual and like it's just a...
Right. Yeah, bisexual. Men who claim to be bisexual, I just I categorize as confused gays.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was.
Probably,
but yeah,
likely.
But very, like I said, just a very weird, story. A lot, and very, very beautiful lady that was kind of could have done I think like a bunch more stuff. Like she would have been in her 80s, almost her 80s now. So we could have gotten another like good like 15 years of movies out of her.
Yeah, I mean she if she had lived, she could have had she could have had like a Betty White thing, where she had like a second or third act to her career.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Dude, Betty White's like 99.
I know I can't believe it.
It's a sad day when she passes.
It really will be.
Yeah. Well, all right. Well,
Betty White, like I am kind of shocked that Hollywood has not produced a Golden Girls movie.
Dude, they've been trying. They even talked about like a race swapped reboot of the series.
No. They can't reboot. No, the series should not be rebooted.
Right.
But I would if they did make a movie, I would probably go see it.
Yeah, well, yeah, because they still have 50% of the cast still alive, so.
Yeah, it could be done.
It could be done. They gotta hurry up on the. Yeah, Betty White is not long for this world. Not to jinx her or nothing, but yeah, she's pretty damn. She's not. She. And not to be mean, because I love Betty White, but she's not long for this world. So yeah.
No.
If Hollywood really wanted it to happen, then it would have been made already.
Yeah.
But for some reason they're a little trigger shy, then let me put your fears to rest. It would be a success.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
It'd be a success.
Like I said, I'm saying like if I found out that they were remaking it, like I mean obviously I would be like I would check out like some of like some of the stories behind it, but like I'd probably be watching it. Yeah. That's kind of like my guilty pleasure. It's like I do enjoy the Golden Girls. It's a good show.
So freaking Brandon is right. You're a closeted Golden Girls fan.
I am a closeted Golden Girls fan. No, I'm not gonna like I don't have all the memorabilia and all that stuff, but it's a show I enjoy.
Okay.
Thank you for being a friend.
Yeah, on the road and back again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's only one show that like, I'm a big, geek it, and I actually did get like a certain memorabilia thing, and that's Battlestar Galactica,
Dude.
the reimagined series, and
I need to go back and I might want to watch this original because I've never seen it. Just did a fucking great job on that one.
Yeah, I love this series. I love this series so much. I actually went on eBay and I actually found Adama's lighter.
No, you did?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I have it right here.
so why didn't you tell me?
Yeah. Well, it's not something I advertise, but I researched it, and then I every once in a while I'd scour eBay because there are actually a lot of these lighters out, but not like this, like as clean as clean as clean as this one, or like the official, like kind of like the Canon Adama lighter.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are lots of these, and I just got lucky, and I found like the exact like kind that they use like on screen.
That's great.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of makes me wish that I smoked cigars or even cigarettes.
Yeah.
But I still I did replace the flint and the lighter fluid, just so
So it's in working condition.
Yeah, so it's in working condition.
Nice. That's awesome. No, I do not have any Golden Girls gear. So
I mean, what, you don't have what's that? Estelle Getty's dentures or something, nothing?
Or her purse.
Or,
I don't have.
Or like a string of pearls or something.
No, I don't. I don't have any of that stuff. But no, I do enjoy. I did enjoy the show when it was on.
Mm-hmm.
So next week we are doing Striptease, I believe, right?
Yes.
Another one of Andy's.
Yeah. Because I mean, I know Striptease has a reputation, but from what I remember, it had a pretty decent story.
Yeah. Well, I've never seen it, and now I own the movie.
Oh.
I couldn't rent it, but like to own the movie, it was like $6. I was like, well, I guess I'm gonna buy the movie.
I guess so. I guess you own it now.
Did this movie come out around the same time as Showgirls?
That's a good question. Let me
Because this feels like one of those things where like two movies come out like that are like essentially the same movie, mm-hmm. and one of them is great and one of them sucks ass. Like Bug Life and Ants.
Yeah. Deep Impact and Armageddon.
Stone and Wyatt Earp.
Okay. Striptease released on June 28, 1996.
Okay.
And
much more recent than I thought.
And then Showgirls was released September 22nd, 1995.
So kind of like around the same time, but
yeah. I mean, I think they would still be counted. Like September and then June.
Year?
What was that?
Is it like one calendar year of each other at least?
I think. Well, yeah, I think because Showgirls came out first in '95, and then Showgirls came out in '95 in September, and then Striptease came out the following year in June. So that's at least. That's over 6 months.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, it's yeah. So I'll take your word for it. I'm looking forward to watching it. Like Demi Moore when she was super hot. Mm-hmm. So can't go wrong there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I think it was what was the other one? It was this movie, G.I. Jane, and something else. There was another movie. There was like a trifecta.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I just can't think of it right now. But yeah, you have that to look forward to, Robert and audience. But yeah, that brings us to the end of the show. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to catch us every Tuesday night at our new time, 6 p.m. I know on the digital set it still says 8 p.m., but I will have that fixed for next week. Don't forget to check out the library of other shows that we have: the Circular Jerks main podcast, Nocturnal Transmissions, of course, and Rob's gaming show, Up by Up Down. Don't forget to follow us on our various social media accounts, Twitter and Letterboxd, where we have kind of like mini reviews of our movies. That is at podcastcoj, and our Instagram is at Circle of Jerks Podcast. Don't forget to give us a follow there as well to receive your notifications when we post tasty slice photos. So give us a follow there, and also if you enjoyed this content, don't forget to give us a subscribe. Not that I'm ungrateful, but we're getting views gone up in a while. So yeah, I want to be mindful of that, and also encourage you all, whoever's watching, to subscribe.
Subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe, or I wish I had a dog so I could lift it up and or the dog gets it.
Like Plato, we're gonna shoot puppies if you don't.
Yeah, we'll shoot puppies if you don't subscribe.
Well, I guarantee nobody from PETA is gonna be watching then.
Oh yeah. That reminds me of a funny anecdote, but I'll save it for another time.
All right, sounds good.
All right. Well, yeah. Thanks for watching, and we'll do it again next week.